what's up everybody? It's Gwen and welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new, welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing another talking video, topic video, if you will. I want to talk about natural hair in the professional setting, just my thoughts on that topic, but I also want to talk about how I wear my hair in a professional setting. So newsflash, I do think natural hair can be worn in the professional setting. So I'm going to talk about my tips for doing so. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Also be sure to turn on all your notifications and follow me on Instagram and TikTok at SoNaturallyGwen. All right, let's get started. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to talk about this video was just because I do work in the professional setting, and I do feel like a lot of people that are natural also work in the professional setting. I feel like this was important because it's a topic that comes up, and I think it is something that either I can use to give advice for my younger viewers or for my viewers that are my age or older, just a reminder of, or like encouragement maybe about how to wear your hair in a natural setting, how to wear your natural hair in a professional setting. Yeah, just something like encouragement or reminders and things like that, or other tips maybe that you haven't heard before. So that's the reason why I wanted to make this video. I don't mean to offend anyone with the things that I say or the opinions that I have. They are my opinions, so treat them as those. Like, you are allowed to have your opinion and I am allowed to have mine. So it wasn't made to offend anybody. So quick disclaimer. So natural hair in the professional setting. So I've made a video on my channel talk about natural hair lessons. That video didn't do too well, but anyways, it's okay. I brought up an important point just to talk about people perceiving your hair, and I think you can kind of go on both ends of the argument. So my mother and I talk about this a lot, how you will represent your job and you represent your workplace, but also it is, I feel like there's different roles that you have to play in your life, and I feel like a lot of people will take their occupation and attach it to themselves and attach it to their like sense of being, like their person. But I feel like it's important to be able to dissociate yourself from the fact that you have a job to do and that your hair doesn't have to be always like front and center for that particular position. So for example, when you go on an interview, it is best to not have your natural hair on show. It really depends on what type of job you're applying for. So I'm going to assume that if you clicked on this video that you are looking to work in an office setting or some other type of professional setting where you're going to be in front of different people each day, interacting with clients and things like that, representing a business or a particular company. So for that reason, I hear this a lot for interviews and things like that from my mom, and I was always, well, you maybe don't know me, but I do question things a lot, and I do question why things are the way they are, and sometimes it just kind of is what it is. But let's dive a little deeper into that. So if you are representing a business, I think a lot of things can be said about you by the way you wear your hair, just because it is a physical feature. And unfortunately, a lot of the things that we convey in conversation, like 90% is nonverbal and 10% is actual verbal, what you say. So unfortunately, you could be saying something very professional or very meaningful, but someone could be distracted by the way you look, the way you dress, and also will make assumptions and conclusions based on what they see in front of them. So for example, if you show up to an interview and you don't have your pressed shirt and you don't look color coordinated, they're going to think that, you took the time to make yourself look presentable for the occasion. It will convey that you take yourself seriously and, you monitor your appearance and make sure that, you are put together. So I think the same thing comes with natural hair. Not that I'm saying that natural hair can't look, is unkept, but it's just, I think it's a little bit of an art to it. And I think there are multiple factors that you have to, factor in when you are wearing your natural hair in a professional setting. So I think that kind of steps into, is natural hair unkept, unprofessional, things like that. So I definitely think it depends on the audience. And like I said, it depends on what type of job you're going for. So if you were going for a very expressive job that celebrates creativity and individuality, then I think you're more likely to be able to show off your individual hair type and texture and hairstyles. However, if you are in a company or in a position where individuality isn't really the best, then not the best, but is not something that is the core value of the company and celebrated, then it's going to be more difficult to show off your personality through your hair as you would like to. I was actually watching this, I don't know what it was on TikTok, but it was a segment talking about Black models in the 90s and how companies started to not want individuality to shine through for their company. So then, your hair might not be the best. It might not be the best option for you to, get super offended when you see that they don't want to celebrate your hair. And I don't mean in that an insensitive way, but that kind of plays into what I was talking about you're doing a job. So I think my thought and my opinion on the matter is that you can't take it personally. Not only because, you have the company that has its core values and you're stepping in as an outside party, you might be shaking things up. This might be something that they've never seen before. People are afraid of change, so, you have to kind of give that. And also you have to think about, just the purpose of you in that position. So if you're representing the company, you have to make sure that the company doesn't mind you representing them. And unfortunately, there's some things that you cannot do. Like sometimes there's nothing you can do. You might not fit what they want. So I think it's good to just, keep that in mind when you are being considered for a position. I know it's very easy for us to jump to conclusions. Oh, they didn't pick me because of this. You really don't know. And honestly, when things don't work out for me or when things don't fall into place the way I would want, I don't really even worry about it. So for example, if I went to a job interview and I had my hair out, I'm less likely to jump to that conclusion of, oh, it's because I had my hair out today, I should have worn it pulled back. I just kind of think, God knows what he wants for me, and maybe that just wasn't it. So I would try to not jump to conclusions and, be easy on yourself, because you really don't know why someone might want to consider someone else for a position, or why, someone might not want to, have you in a particular position. But I know that some things can be a little bit more blatant where, you're pulled aside and said your hair is unprofessional, you have to change it, or you're being kicked out of school, or, told to leave work early. I've definitely heard those extremes. Thankfully, I haven't had anything like that happen to me, but I would just say that sometimes some things are, it's kind of like, would it have been good for you in the first place? If you were at a job and they told you that your hair wasn't good for the professional setting, then would you even want to work there? That could be God telling you hey, this really isn't the place for you to be. I need you somewhere else. So I would kind of take certain circumstances and not really jump to conclusions and try to see them as opportunities and try to see the positivity out of everything. So that is my take on natural hair in the professional setting and how my thought process on when those feelings come up of I feel like I don't belong because of my natural hair, or I feel that I'm being treated differently because of my natural hair. You could be treated differently for a lot of different things. Unfortunately, as a Black woman, I have multiple things against me, and especially if you are a beautiful, attractive Black woman or a beautiful, attractive Black man, someone is going to be triggered by you for whatever reason. So those microaggressions are going to come out for a multitude of reasons. So it's hard to kind of pinpoint those things, and sometimes the person might not even know why they don't like you. So yes, that is my thought process when it comes to natural hair in the professional setting, and those are my opinions on how you should approach the topic. That's how I think you should approach the topic, to just, help your mental well-being and to give you peace of mind. And those are ways that I personally give myself peace of mind when talking about this topic. But I also think that you kind of have to play the game. So, let's get into the tips on natural hair in the professional setting. So I'll use that as tip number one. Tip number one is to play the game. Unfortunately, there are some things that you need to do to get into certain positions. So have you ever heard of you wear your hair, pull back for, the interview, but once you get the job or once you're the boss, then you can make your own rules, those kind of things. So for example, I would say release your natural hair in stages. So at first you need to prove yourself and you need to show that, hey, I'm not going to be someone who is going to shake the table and, try to completely derail your company, quote unquote, if that's what you want to call it. You want to prove yourself and say, hey, like I can, represent your company. I am able to appeal to a multitude of people and I'm able to, thrive in multitude of settings. So are you able to be that very corporate looking image that they want? Or can you, maneuver with people who are a little more, down to earth and, you need to let your hair down and you're able to, show off your personality in that way. I think there's just a time and a place for certain things. So I would say definitely play the game. You are going to have to, it is what it is. And I just think that, hey, if you're able to finesse and get the job anyway, I say, hey, it's fine. You know what I mean? So make sure you're qualified, make sure that everything else is on point. And that way your hair is a minor, blemish, if you will. Tip number 2 is confidence. I would say tip number 2 is confidence because I think everyone can agree that the number one thing that is attractive in a person for any position, for a relationship, friendship, people that you watch on YouTube, I'm sure, is confidence. So that is something that you can always get behind. So I think, again, making yourself feel confident, not only are you going to be able to command the room and be able to, get those opportunities and those successes that you want, but also just if you are ever in an uncomfortable situation or are unsure of yourself, I feel like you'll be able to prevail. So you'll be able to get people on board to wanting to not judge you for hair or anything like that. So I think confidence is key, especially when wearing your hair in a natural setting. Wearing your natural hair in a professional setting. Jesus. Sorry about that. Yeah, so that's going to prevail because, you're not going to worry about, oh, is anyone else thinking about my hair? You're going to be, in your confidence. So yes, definitely remain confident. There are tons of content out there about confidence. Just to name some things that I personally like to do, affirmations are huge. Affirmations really work. They really do work. Also, positive self-talk. Also journaling and just thinking your thoughts. Like, it's really good to journal things out. Venting to people I don't find is very helpful. I feel like it's good to vent to a journal. That's what I personally do. And honestly, when you write out your thoughts, worst case scenarios, things that you're anxious about, and you read it back, it doesn't actually seem as anxious provoking anymore, anxiety provoking. And it also makes it not sound stupid, but you do like, oh wait, should I really be worried about that? Like, I don't know. I feel like it gives you a second perspective when looking at your anxieties about things. So definitely, I would say work on those things, work on yourself to become more confident and try not to take things personally because the reasons people are triggered by certain things are not because of you. So there's really nothing you can do sometimes. So that reassurance to yourself, I think, will be really helpful with being confident. So yes, definitely, I would say remain confident. Tip number 3, I would say, is to have your edges together. My edges are not laid, but what I'm saying is I feel like the edges of your hair are like the key to whether or not your hair looks put together or not. I was going to make a video about how to feel put together with your natural hair. I still don't know if I'm going to make that video, but I feel like this video kind of like meshes in with that. Basically, I feel like your edges are like so important. I'm not saying slick down your edges because my edges do slick down now. I found products that slick them down. But what I'm saying is brush them. Don't have your flyaways. Look in the mirror before you leave. Have a backwards mirror. Like, girl, I'm not saying that you have to be perfect in every way, but I feel like having your edges together really just makes you look a lot more put together and make you feel like, it's not so distracting. So if you have to use a headband to have them laid down, whatever, just anything, because I feel like having the edges pushed back kind of makes your hair not seem so like all over the place and in your face and can make you look a little more polished and, put together, even if you don't have the ability to put your hair in a ponytail or anything like that or pull it back. It doesn't have to be a lot of tension, but just a little more, look like you put a little bit of work into it, a little bit of time, even though it's just your edges. So, yeah, that is another tip that I would say for wearing your hair in a professional setting. Tip number 4, I would say, is to find your signature style or hairstyles. So now I'm going to talk about hairstyles that I personally wear in my professional profession. I didn't even talk about my profession. I'm a doctor. Yeah, so I'm a resident still. I'm in my training, but I am a doctor and I work in a doctor's office. So that is my professional setting that I have. And also I've worked in an office setting before I went to medical school. So those are my professional settings. But anyways, so back when I had short hair, I obviously could not put my hair in a ponytail very easily. So I loved to flat twist to a bun. That was like my go-to. I found that for like conferences, for presentations and things like that, especially when I'm outside of the office and, you know, out and about. I felt like that was a really good hairstyle when working with clients because I felt like it just was the best way to pull my hair back in some way and out of the way. Middle part, side part, doesn't really matter. It's also really easy because I don't have to stretch my hair and I can just, you know, pull it back and it's done after wash day. I filmed a tutorial on Instagram and TikTok about my quick wash day, but it makes for a quick wash day as well. So that is my go-to hairstyle. Another hairstyle I love is this one. I just recently started being able to pull my hair back like this because I really didn't know what I was doing and I didn't have the products that were going to help my hair kind of stay down. So yes, I think by the time this video is filmed, I do have a tutorial on Instagram and TikTok, so you can check it out there. But yeah, so I have this hairstyle that I love. It does, you know, I really do try to make sure I don't have too much tension in like the nape of my neck. And I also try not to do these hairstyles too often. I'll try to do this maybe like once a month at the most. I don't do this hairstyle back to back too much. Another hairstyle that I really love is half up, half down. I feel like that was a hairstyle that worked also when my hair was shorter. I feel like half up, half down is a good way to show your length, but also have, you know, that's like sleekness and that, you know, to keep your face from being so like covered and distracting with hair everywhere. I feel like it's a good way to have your hair out, but not really out. So that's another hairstyle that I don't mind wearing in the professional setting. And then I would say my last hairstyle, I do flat twist to a bun a lot. I love flat twists. Like, I like my protective styles personally. But yeah, I would say anything that twists up the front to a bun. You can do a ponytail, things like that. Buns are good for also protecting your ends and, you know, promoting hair growth. So I feel like it's kind of a win-win. And all in all, I think finding your signature styles helps you to perfect them. And then you can build your confidence with having these hairstyles, because I think that when you have like a kind of an arsenal of hairstyles, you don't feel like you're rushing around to try different hairstyles or having to, you know, feel uncomfortable wearing a new hairstyle. I feel like once you're like, okay, this is me, this is what I do, like this is my hairstyle, then I feel like it's comfortable for everyone because it's expected. So I don't know. So I like having signature go-to hairstyles that work for me and that I know what products to use and they never fail. Not only is it good for a busy lifestyle, but I think it's good for the professional setting because your hair is, you know, kept in some way. Oh, and I forgot to mention another thing that is good for the professional setting is having your curls defined in some way. Now, I don't mean defined like gel, curl activator type of things, but it could be as simple as having your hair like twisted or braided, like twisting or braiding your texture to create that, or you know, curling your ends with a flexi rod. But I also think, like I said, having your edges together, if your hair isn't very defined, I don't think, you know, it's the end all be all for you. But yeah, I think having your hair pattern defined in some way just kind of puts that extra effort into it. And I feel like it lasts a long time. Like even when I twist up my hair, like you don't have to redo it every day. So sometimes it's like a one and done type of thing. So yes, those are some things that I would keep in mind for natural hair in the professional setting. And yeah, that's the end of this video, you guys. I really hope it was helpful. I hope it wasn't too all over the place. I try not to make too many videos without a script, but this was kind of on my spirit, so I kind of want to just talk about it. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. Be sure to share your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. I'm really interested to see your guys' perspective. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Also, be sure to turn on all your notifications and follow me on Instagram and TikTok at SoNaturallyGwen. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.